the morning at 6:10 a.m. and then Steve Boom Boom Cannon when he does his night show at 7:10 p.m. You just give the numbers 805-727-3475. You don't say DIRK because if no one listens, I don't know. Somebody may be doing something sooner or later. Stand by, folks. Remember, it is our spring share-a-thon, so please, while you're listening to Boom Boom tonight, take the time and just share. Right now, we don't need money to grow. We literally just need eyeballs and earballs. Are they called eyeballs and earballs, Steve, or is it something else they're called?
Eyeballs and eardrums.
Yeah, so that's what we need the most. So people that are in the Facebook Live chat room, do us a favor. If you're here about a minute early, type in your name. And, Steve, we like to know where they're from, right?
Absolutely. Let us know who you are and where you're from, and we'll only use your first name.
Now, if people snuck in and got the really preview, they heard me talking about somebody, some character named Dave from Powell. Remember him?
Dave from Powell is a guy who called every talk show in America, literally, and every talk show in Central Ohio, literally, and very honestly has become sort of a pop culture icon, if you will, for lack of a better term. And Dave from Powell is now Riding the Wave with Dave.
I like to call people
down at WLW
as a serial talk show callers, but they end up making great talk show hosts once they can yell on the microphone instead of yelling at the radio. Do you agree?
I couldn't agree more.
All right, stand by. We're coming in 20 seconds, Steve.
All right.
Oop, wait a minute. We gotta get the YouTube stream going. I am not used to having both the YouTube Live and the Facebook Live, which is our first time doing this for this week at least. So give us 1 second here, and we should be up to go on Facebook and YouTube now. Okay, start the music, Chatty. We've got Facebook and YouTube are live. Steve Cannon Show in 5, 4, 3.
Serving in Ohio, high above the Levant Tower. This is the live and local talk station. News Talk 614. Boom, boom, here's Steve Cannon.
Radio Rampage, developed by TerryWilson.com. Develop your skills with Terry Wilson, photographer.
NEWSTALK614.com. Let's begin.
Good evening, Greater Columbus and all of Ohio and the internet, both Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Welcome into your Steve Boom Boom Cannon Nighttime Radio Rampage. And as is the case every night of the week, interesting, unusual, famous, and controversial people are the bill of fare, or is the bill of fare, whichever is correct English, right here. I want you to know that this country today, on May the 17th, is it? May the 18th, is in fact experiencing bizarre weather. I was just in touch with a contact of mine out of the SLS studios in Denver, where I did my first couple of weeks from, and they said they had snow, cold, and wind. Colorado. They also are not helping ISIS out in Denver, Colorado, to find out which among our illegal aliens into the country are criminals and which are not. So they're not going to help. But here, on the other side of Ohio, in Pennsylvania, it was nearly 90 degrees in the Pocono Mountains in northeast Pennsylvania today. I mean, is that not bizarre weather? Think about it for a second. Now, let's go back to, February and March. In Denver, temperatures were in the 70s, and northeast Pennsylvania was having a blizzard. I'm not going to go along with the greenies and say that there is a severe climate change going on and something has to be done to stop it or we'll all perish. I'm not going to do that. But there has been some interesting twists in our weather nationally, on the one hand. But on the other hand, if you are from the Northeast, and that would include, of course, the Great Lakes states, like Ohio, but if you're from the Northeast quarter of the country, you'll understand that sometimes we have lousy weather in the wintertime, and other times we have really warm weather in the wintertime. I do remember a June 3rd, my hometown of Brookline, Massachusetts. I looked out the window, and what did I see? A miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. No, actually, I looked out and I saw snow falling in June in the metropolitan Boston area. Wow. Oh, by the way, speaking of my hometown, those of you who have been listening for a while, you will know that I'm originally from Boston, suburban Boston, a place called Brookline. Nice town, good place to come from. There was Dirk, I got to tell you, there was a guy that I grew up with, Barry. And Barry and I have known each other since we were like 4 years old. That's how long Barry and I have been friends.
So it's about 4 years old when you start having, pretty good memories of when you're little, because it's about 4 for me.
Well, 4 for me also. I do remember my 5th birthday party very well because my mother invited all of the kids from the neighborhood, and our neighborhood was about 2 miles across. So there were kids living everywhere, and Mom invited a bunch of kids. And my friend Barry, I have a picture of my friend Barry and I sitting on the front steps of our first house at my 5th birthday party. And one of these days, I'll put that 5th birthday party a picture online, and you can see what a goofy little kid I was when I was growing up. Well, anyway, now my friend Barry, God love him, what a great guy. He's a member, by the way, of the Boston Bruins Alumni Association. He never played for the Bruins, but he does PR and sets up events for the Bruins alumni. And we're talking about people that may played for the Bruins 50 and 60 years ago who will participate in various community fundraising events. In addition to that, my friend Barry also My friend Barry also, at the age of 10, I believe it was, lectured at MIT on herpetology.
When he was how old?
10 years old?
10? And
10 years old.
What is herpetology?
No, herpetology. Herpetology is the study of snakes.
Really?
So
See,
he was,
when I was 10 years old, I was catching garter snakes, but that was it.
No, he was actually lecturing. He was lectured at MIT.
Wow.
Anyway, and he thinks he's a deep thinker, and always he will come up with talk about, i.e., the imponderable aspects of life on planet Earth. And Dirk, I have a couple of items that he sent to me several months ago, but I kept them in abeyance until we had a night like tonight. Are you ready?
I am ready.
If a person from Poland is called a Pole, why aren't people from Holland called a hole? Barry, you thought of this, Barry. I can't believe it.
Oh, geez.
We use the word Asian to describe people from Asia these days. And I don't care if you're from the Philippines or South Vietnam or whatever. Well, it's no more. It's all Vietnam. Or from China. In the old days, we called them Oriental people.
Those are rugs.
So when you think about this, when you think about that word, though, Oriental people. Now, listen, if you were to take an Oriental person and spin him around several times, does he become disoriented?
No.
Yeah,
no.
That my friend Barry thinks that way.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He really does.
Orientals are rugs. They're not people.
Well, actually, an Oriental rug is mistitled because most Oriental rugs come from places like Turkey and Iran and Iraq.
Right.
They're the folks that make and what used to be Persia, which is now Iran, obviously. And that's not really the Orient. The Orient is further east, like from India on over to the Pacific. That's where that came. Now, listen to this. My friend Barry asked this question. Do infants enjoy infancy as much as adults enjoy adultery? Think about that. No kidding. I've never given it any thought until Barry sent this to me. If a pig loses its voice, does it become disgruntled? Can you imagine the brain on that guy, Barry? I mean, he's amazing. If love is blind, Dirk, are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't know if I want to be, though.
Onto this. If love is blind, why is lingerie so popular?
See, now that is a good question.
I wonder about these things.
Isn't it weird, though? Because Mrs. Thompson doesn't appreciate it when I wear my my men's lingerie. She just gets nothing out of that.
I have seen close-up pictures of you, my friend.
Oh, no, you haven't seen these.
I cannot envision you in some kind of a male thong. I mean, that just really...
Yeah, and for some reason, she doesn't appreciate men's lingerie.
Ah, okay.
Then again, she doesn't appreciate women's lingerie either, so...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I have another imponderable question.
Uh-oh.
Why is the man who invests money called a broker? Think about that for a second. Why is that happening?
Oh, no.
Now, here's another fact. Okay? You ready for this?
Yeah.
My friend Barry thought this up. Now, I want you to know that.
I don't think there really is a friend Barry. I think you just it's you, but you're blaming somebody else.
His middle name is Thomas, and his last name begins with a D. I can't say his last name.
Well, I could make up a little make-believe, evil me that has a different name.
I don't have imaginary friends, Dirk. If you do, that's quite all right with me. I'm not going to call you on it. Now listen, Barry also went on to say, and here's another imponderable question. Are you ready?
Sure.
When cheese gets its picture taken, what does it say? Think about this for a second. My friends in Radioland, these are the imponderable questions we all must come up with answers for or go crazy thinking about it. Now, listen to me once again.
No.
Here we go.
No.
Here's another one, another imponderable. Don't go no. These are funny. I am is reportedly the shortest sentence in the English language.
Which one
Could
is?
it be I am?
Okay.
Could it be that I do is the longest sentence?
Well, see, that's one of those questions.
Well, what the hell? Yeah, I'm married 44. I was married 44 years.
Can get us into
But
trouble depending on how we answer it.
But it's a thought. You ever know what I mean?
Just something
It's
to consider.
worth thinking about it.
Oh, geez.
Now, did you ever think about this question? Seriously.
Sure.
What hair color do you put on your driver's license if you're bald? Think about that for a second.
That is what would you put? Now see, that is a good question right there. What would you put?
I don't. I have no idea. Have you ever noticed that no one ever says it's only a game when their team is winning? Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Barry, if you're listening tonight, man, I appreciate the imponderable questions that my friend Barry, who actually lectured on herpetology at MIT at the age of 10, I remember it vividly. I went out to his house that weekend and I asked where you'd been. And I said, where you been, Barry? Well, I was down at MIT. I lectured in herpetology, or whatever the heck it's called, the study of snakes. Brother. Well, I've got more of these imponderables. I'll put them aside until a later day.
Please
Okay?
stop. Please.
No, we can't. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that to you. Dirk, I apologize. They just were, your driver's license if you're bald for a hair color.
That's true.
Flesh. I guess you could what's the color of your head? It's flesh. Yeah, but then again, what if you're a person of color? What do you put down,
Oriental.
That too. Well, what's really funny too is the Crayola people several years ago eliminated a crayon called Flesh. Politically incorrect. Kind of a beige, sort of a pinky color. But the Crayola company, because it was politically incorrect, or thought it might be considered to be politically incorrect, they stopped making so-called flesh-colored Crayola crayons.
No, really?
I know. The last time I went out to Toys R Us to try and get some crayons, because I do when I'm not doing my radio show, I sit around the house and do
You don't do that adult coloring books like
adult
people are
coloring
doing,
books,
do you?
yeah, all right.
We couldn't find you in the short north at a tea establishment, like smoking a hookah pipe and then sitting there with your pet dog in your lap, and that wouldn't be you though, would it?
No, that wouldn't. Okay. Oh, by the way, question about the short north. There was a restaurant that was on Restaurant Impossible, I believe it was, or Bar Rescue, one or the other. It was called Cray Cray. Does that place still exist?
And it's here in Columbus, in the short north.
Yeah. Cray Cray. Anybody know?
That's anybody in the chat room. Put it in. Cray Cray.
Cray Cray.
Is Cray spelled C-R-A or C-R-A-Y?
I believe it's called C-R-A-Y.
Let's
Which is the new way of saying crazy.
You cray cray. Okay. Steve Cannon, you be cray cray.
You betcha, baby. I tell you what, I wanted
Here we go.
to break.
It's Cray Eatery and Drinkery.
Oh, really?
Great, yeah.
An eatery and a drinkery.
Now, on TripAdvisor, it ranks 1,156 out of 1,854 restaurants in Columbus. But it's only got 18 reviews, so don't let that scare you away from Cray Eatery and Drinkery.
Now, what was the best rating that you saw on that website?
Let's see. TripAdvisor does
TripAdvisor.
0 to 5. It has 4 excellent ratings, and it has 1 5-star. It says, stop by the newly named... Oh, it must have changed its name. Factory on 4th on a Saturday afternoon to check it out. They recently went through the taping of a Restaurant Impossible episode.
That's right. And in fact, what happened was...
Oh, yeah.
What happened was they renamed the place because it's an old factory that was converted into a restaurant.
March 21st, 2016, they need to get some more friends to do some more recent reviews.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
what a lot of people do.
They need
just
to
get their friends
advertise
to
on the
give them
Steve
reviews.
Cannon Radio Rampage.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I want to take a break here, and I will take this break, and I will be right back. There is more to come of your, and no more imponderables, I promise. Coming up right here on NEWSTALK614.com.
Now, you don't have any more jokes from your quote-unquote friend coming up, do you?
My imaginary friend Barry.
Oh, see? Look, he just admitted. Imaginary friend. I knew Barry was
Cannon
needs the comfort and inspiration of religious faith, for it is faith which helps hold our families together, builds moral and spiritual character. And today, perhaps more than ever before, there's a need to turn to a way of life based on the enduring principles of religion. There are a great many programs of religious nature on NBC Radio, which you'll enjoy hearing this Sunday. Among them, The Art of Living, the National Radio Pulpit, Eternal Light, the Lutheran Hour, the Catholic Hour, and the Hour of Decision conducted by Billy Graham. These are but a few of the broadcasts that will bring you inspiration and comfort not only this Sunday, but on the Sundays to come. Of course, the Easter message will be the highlight event this week. We know you'll enjoy hearing them as a supplement to your visit to the church of your choice. And when you do go to church this Sunday, take the whole family with you.
You have got an incredibly powerful communications device at your fingertips, and it comes in a camera that makes high-definition images and video. Now, your camera is a wonder of this period in development of those kinds of devices. We take it for granted generally, and not too many years ago, you would have acquired equipment costing tens of thousands of dollars, plus an engineering degree and years of specialized on-the-job training. Well, Terry Wilson has broadcast experience, both radio and television, and has been serious about the art of photography since the early 1960s. He holds certification as an adult education instructor with the State of Ohio Department of Education and is also certified in forensic videography. If you want to learn how to fully take advantage of your device, I suggest Terry will make it easy for you. See his work and get his help at terrywilson.com.
morning, afternoon, and night. It's all local. It's all live with open phones. We have been listening. We have heard your felt. Your solid voice will be heard. Return of live and local political talk and discussion. Streaming live and online at NEWSTALK614.com. Live, local, and connected. Live open phones for Columbia 24/7 now. 805-727-3475. Powered by the news site magazine HuntForTheTruth.com. The TeamTrump Radio Network. TTRN. Serving Ohio, high above the Levant Tower. This is the live and local talk station. News Talk 614. Boom, boom, here's Steve Cannon.
Radio Rampage, developed by TerryWilson.com. Develop your skills with Terry Wilson, photographer.
NEWSTALK614.com. Let's begin.
And I am a bit unnerved. I stated this on Facebook. I'm a bit unnerved by what a judge in Licking County did that resulted in 3 tragic deaths and the death of the police chief in Kirkersville. It still bothers me. And not only does it bother me, but what's happening is, oh, your kid. See, I told you, Dirk, I really have a friend named Barry. Hello, Barry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm holding up nicely under the pressure. Awfully good of you to ask. Now, there was one bone of contention that we had to resolve, Dirk and I. First of all, he didn't believe you were real. He thought you were my imaginary friend because I'm getting older, and sometimes that happens when you get older.
I think you're still maybe changing your voice and calling at the same time.
No, I'm not that good. I also said that you at one point appeared at MIT and did a talk on herpetology. Is that not correct?
You're partially correct. It was at BU.
At BU. Well, that's a good
Right.
school too.
And
I went to BU.
10 years old?
I was 12, 13. I have the picture and the letter from the professor to prove it, but
That's amazing.
I can't send it unless I make a picture of it.
That is amazing. So did you, when I was like 10 or 12, I used to catch snakes, like garter snakes that were in my area, but did you ever keep snakes when you were that young?
No, when I was older and after I got married, I kept a couple of boa constrictors out.
I tried to get one of those. My wife said no.
Yeah.
My wife actually gave me the first one for a gift. Maybe she was trying to tell me something.
I'm surprised you're still around with 2 boa constrictors in the house. Boy, I'll tell you.
They weren't big enough to do me in, but they could give me a tussle, though.
I would worry if my spouse bought me a boa constrictor. That would concern me.
Well, it was mainly for the kids, but they liked it.
Oh, now, one of the other things we talked about was your involvement with the Bruins Alumni Association.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about what that Boston Bruins Alumni Association is like. What does it do?
Well, what it does is it's a bunch of ex-Bruins who go around and they play charity games, mostly against like police departments and fire departments. And the money that is collected at the games is with kids. It also helps sometimes with leagues in areas where the kids don't have a lot of money, and it helps them to buy equipment so that they can continue with youth hockey programs.
And do the older players enjoy doing this kind of thing?
Well, they enjoy it, but they between you and I, they do get a stipend.
Ah, okay.
Well, I mean, and when you guys think about it, a lot of those old players, they weren't making money hand over fist back in the day either. So,
No, but they seem to be not very. They seem to live pretty well today, anyway.
Okay.
I
was trying to give them a break.
They didn't get like the ball players and the and football players and stuff like that. They were and the basketball players. They were at the bottom of the rung of the sports. I would say.
Really?
At that time.
Huh.
Well, yeah.
Amazing.
Now they've come up, so they're even for what they do.
I want you to know, my friend Barry, Dirk, and listeners, my friend Barry had a nickname when he was a kid, and the nickname was Bison, because this little buffalo could stand in the goal of a hockey game, and you would never get a puck past him ever. I mean, this guy blocked so many pucks during so many hockey games.
How many pucks did he block?
It's unfathomable. I could not add up in a million years how many pucks this man has blocked in his entire life.
Is this true?
Is that true, Barry?
I did play goalie, and I do have some. And to this day, I still suffer some lingering injuries, mainly in my shoulders.
So indeed, you did.
And a bridge. And a bridge.
Okay. So you did play goalie, and you have injuries to prove that you have. Usually, when somebody plays hockey, because I remember the images that I had as a kid of some of the Bruins, and they were always some guy with a messed up face and 3 teeth missing in the front. So you never had that problem, though, right?
I don't have any teeth missing, but I do have a bridge.
Now, did you play goalie back when the goalies didn't wear masks? I mean,
when I first started, because I'm 77 now, when I first started, there was no such thing as a mask.
Wow. See, that's when hockey was hockey, gentlemen. That's when hockey was hockey.
Yeah, that's why they were all missing teeth. I didn't quite. The mask was given up shortly after I was playing, but we ended up with a mask, but still, still get banged around.
Barry,
the funny part about it is, Barry,
before Barry called the show to prove that you were not Steve's imaginary friend, I don't know if you were listening, Barry, to the Steve Cannon show on News Talk 614, but he was telling a bunch of jokes, but he was giving you, I don't know if we would call it credit or giving you responsibility for them. Are they possibly your jokes?
Well, if I could hear him, I would tell you, but I'm sure I told him a few over the life of our friendship, which still continues to this day, although we haven't seen each other a long time. You have to realize that we first met when we were about 3 years old.
We were about 4. If people from Poland are called Poles, why aren't people from Holland called holes? That's your joke, right? Will you
claim responsibility for that one, Barry?
Well, I didn't hear the whole thing.
All right. Well,
he said,
right, pal,
if people that are called Poles, why aren't people from Holland called holes? Would that be your joke, perhaps?
Yeah, that would be something I would have told them.
Okay. All right. Well, you're right, Steve.
Now it's been proven Barry is not an imaginary friend. He's a guy I've known since I was a little boy, and here he is on this program tonight to prove it. Barry, thank you for calling.
Tell him what happened during the interview during the when I fell asleep.
Oh
gosh!
I was doing
it on the air, and you said, "Wait a minute." It was late at night. You said, "Wait a minute, I got to do a couple of commercials." You got back to me, and I was asleep. I think it was something with the Patriots won something, or the Red Sox in the World Series. I forget what it was. But you were screaming, trying to wake me up on the air.
That was the all-night radio rampage at that other radio station.
Yeah,
and I called him in the middle of the night, and he fell asleep during the interview.
Well,
it was absolutely. But I got to say,
during the interview because you went to commercial.
Yeah, I get it. Believe me. I got to say one thing though. We in Columbus are very proud this year because, in fact, the Columbus Blue Jackets did get to the NBA playoffs. I mean, the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, they probably did better than the Bruins.
Yeah, they did actually.
You'll see
all right, listen.
During the summer, they'll probably refer to the team as the Ruins.
Okay, you're right, Steve. He does have these, tons of them.
Yeah, he got a ton of them, I'll tell you. Barry, thank you, pal. Good to talk to you again. I'll call you in a few days.
You're welcome.
We'll get together, maybe. I'll come to Boston. I'll see what's doing over there. See, I talk to him. I start talking. You see, I talk to him. I start talking like I come from Boston again.
I heard that beginning to come on. I had a little sense of that.
I am now an adopted Buckeye, so I have to get out of the habit of saying parking my car in the harbor yard. and all that other
Yeah,
nonsense.
go Buckeyes,
I tell you
go
what,
Ohio State.
Oh, thank you,
Well,
Barry.
I appreciate it. What's really funny too is I every fall I root for Ohio State and I get booed by all of these wonderful Penn State fans here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Break time. There is more to come. Your Steve Boom Boom Cannon, nighttime radio rampage, right here on NEWSTALK614.com. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. The Big E in Denver is listening tonight. Holy moly. Hey, Big E.
Boom, boom, cannon.
Go find an ashtray
Find your ass.
for my V26.com e-cigarette. In fact, if you were like myself and tried the patch, tried the pill, the psycho medication, and hypnotism all at the same time like I did, and you still couldn't stop, these e-cigs, which look exactly like an analog cigarette, for you dummies, that means it looks just like a cigarette. These are the best. V26.com. If you buy an e-cig, Dan, at a gas station, you're buying an e-cig from a place that sells gasoline. Those are horrible ripoffs. With the V26.com, you get the tanks, you get the refills, and the thing that is the best and finally made me dive into e-cigs is the pull and the hit on this water vapor exactly mimics like a drag on a Marlboro or a Camel Menthol or a Cool.
My goodness.
That's
Beautiful.
over and over. Give it a shot. They got 10% off on the starter kits. And Dan, today and today only, SIGS.com, they'll get an additional 10%
I think
off
I see
their
a weather
order.
here.
Wow, 30% off your order. Man, you can't
I'm
beat
getting
that.
you a better
That's
weather, like the real one.
V26.com.
E2C.
It's the Dano Show every morning, Monday through Friday, 6:10 until 10:10 on NEWSTALK614.com.
There you go, Steve. There's the real weather.
I know what we're doing. We're tuning these guys up for some fun, man. This is going to be good. Man, it isn't that it isn't that you want to wish ill to anyone.
You have got an incredibly powerful communications
It's 78
device at your
outside, Steve.
fingertips. And it
Okay.
comes in a camera that makes high-definition images and video. Now, your camera is a wonder of this period in development of those kinds of devices. We take it for granted generally. And
Hey, Steve,
not
coming out
too
of
many
this
years
break,
ago,
I'm going to play a
we
little
required
snippet
equipment
on the
costing
Russia
tens
investigation,
of
about 30
thousands of
seconds.
dollars,
Okay.
plus an engineering degree and years of specialized on-the-job training. Well, Terry Wilson has broadcast experience, both radio and television, and has been serious about the art of photography.
Oh, and at
since the
some
early
point while you're
1960s.
talking with
He
Dave,
holds
at some point
certification
during
as
that,
an adult
do a
education
little
instructor
Terry
with the
Wilson
State of
live
Ohio
read,
Department
and
of
I'll bring it up on
Education,
your screen
and
when
is
it's time.
also certified
Perfect, thank
in
you.
forensic videography. If you want to learn how to fully take advantage of your
Did you hear me
device,
talking smack about
I
Dave from
suggest
Powell on
Terry
my show
will make
today?
it easy
I
for
heard you talking about it, yeah.
See his work and
I blocked
get
him from
his help
Facebook a couple months
at
ago. I don't love him anymore.
TerryWilson.com.
He's laughing now.
Therefore, it's up to
So
us,
maybe
the
that's
best
what we have the
fed nation in
listeners
the world,
do,
to tighten
Steve.
our
We ask
belts.
them if I should
We can
unblock
share a meal and
DFP
save
and
a
they can
life.
vote.
And here's how.
All right.
Buy only as much bread and other wheat products as you
Okay,
really
we got
need.
about 60
Use
seconds
rice,
coming up.
fats, and oils sparingly. Don't waste
And remember,
any
I'll be
food.
playing the
Whether
Comey
you use fats
Russia
and oils
investigation
and food source
soundbite,
properly.
and then do the
Find
weather,
out
then
and
into
waste as much
Dave.
of your family's food as you can. You are saving food for those who desperately need it when you buy less, especially when you use up those leftovers.
Serving Ohio Above that tower is live and local talk station. News Talk 614.
Radio Rampage.
So if the Attorney General or senior officials at the Department of Justice opposes a specific investigation, can they halt that FBI investigation?
In theory, yes.
Has it happened?
Not in my experience, because it would be a big deal to tell the FBI to stop doing something that without an appropriate purpose. I mean, oftentimes they give us opinions that we don't see a case there, and so you ought to stop investing resources in it. But I'm talking about a situation where we were told to stop something for a political reason. That would be a very big deal. It's not happened in my experience.
Well, a number of us have called for an independent investigator or a special prosecutor to investigate the Russian efforts to undermine or to interfere with our elections, as well as the Trump team's relationships with these Russian efforts. And should the Department of Justice decide that there should be such an independent investigator or special prosecutor, and you already have an ongoing
Wow. Didn't get the whole thing, did we? But that is a soundbite and some question and answer between.
It missed the part, I think, where he actually said that there'd been no interference from the White House, and he swore on the Bible, basically.
So Comey actually swore to it, and it wasn't really true, was it?
Right, and now he says that he was pressured by the White House. So, I mean, he testified under oath that it never happened, and now he's saying it did. So, once again, he's got himself in a catch-22.
Absolutely, and I think it's very good that they have put someone in charge of will put someone in charge of the FBI, like former Senator Joe Lieberman from Connecticut. I also think that they've put in place the appropriate investigative prosecutor to find out what actually did go on. I think this is likely to turn out in the president's favor on the one hand, but on the other hand, the entire forward motion of the Trump administration, the entire operation of the government, at least the legislative branch, and the media have all come to a screeching halt all of a sudden over this. And I guess it's important that we know what actually went on. And maybe that's the reason why we have a special prosecutor appointed. And that's why we're going to have a brand new director of the FBI. So anyway, we'll find out what goes on here. Oh, I need to do the weather here, don't I? Matter of fact, it's been, got to do that right now. May I please? Chance of showers, thunderstorms, mainly before 11 tonight. The rest of the night, mostly cloudy with the lows at around 63. And then a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 3 in the afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high temperature reading near 77 degrees. On Friday night, going to get a little cooler and continue to get cooler. Chance of showers, thunderstorms, maybe before 11 o'clock in the evening on Friday night. A slight chance of showers overnight, mostly cloudy and around 57 for Saturday. Not a bad day. Chance of showers, thunderstorms also possible. And that will be late morning, then mostly cloudy during the rest of the day. And it's going to get up to 82 degrees in Columbus. Right now, 78 degrees in the short north, 78 degrees in Reynoldsburg. And that's from NEWSTALK614.com. And we're back. I still am, it's really funny. For years, doing talk radio and being a disc jockey, we always had a jingle or a piece of music coming out of the weather. So I am so oriented to that. And I think for a Polish guy, for me to be oriented, I think is interesting. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke, okay? Don't get excited. For crying out loud. Oh, my gosh. All right, gee whiz. People get so tense these days. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, I am so oriented to that particular formatic structure that when I finish the weather, I sit there waiting for somebody to play a jingle and nothing happens. Well, maybe one of these days, as we continue to develop the Steve Cannon Nighttime Radio Rampage, We might even actually have jingles. We might even
wait a
have.
minute. Okay, here. How about this one?
Oh, okay.
All right. Should we maybe use this one in the future?
NEWSTALK
614.
weather.
You want something like that, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Well, that's how we'll get into the weather, but
Yeah.
how do we get out of the weather?
Well, it's just like at the old place. Just the music will go out, and you give the final temperatures, and then I'll fade it out.
Ah, cool.
So that'll be it. It'll sound like this.
NEWSTALK
614.
weather.
Sounds like that guy's got a problem with like weather. Oh my gosh. You do have a guest on the line, by the way.
I have a
Speaking of
person
which.
calling me on the telephone. I
Yes.
don't believe it.
There he is.
An actual call. Hello, listener. Are you there?
Is that my signal?
That's the bat signal right there, Bob.
Are you there, listener? Hello, listener.
I hear a
Talk to
dog
me.
howling. Is that the listener or is that me?
Well,
That's
you're the
our
listener.
that's our
aren't you?
station mascot.
Ah, okay.
Oh, the station mascot. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Let me know
It
when I'm on the air.
Now, wait a minute. It sounds to me as if this is the one and only, the ever-present, the infamous Dave from Powell. Is it really you, Dave?
Yes,
Dave.
I'm real, not Memorex, but I just parachuted down from about a 770-foot tower, and now I'm in my Batmobile, and Master Alfred is actually taking me to my newest, greatest location here, Hideout. We had to install some new surveillance equipment and stuff. Of course, Dirk would know all about that kind of stuff. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it is me in person, King. What a pleasure to join you tonight.
You son of a gun, Dave from Powell, DFP, my man, the perennial talk show caller, the biggest pain in the tush on two legs, but a nice guy, and that's why I put up with you, Dave.
Tell me about it.
You're now at WLW Radio.
I'm actually I moved into your slot, so I'm actually now doing a late night Radio Rampage show, and I'm hanging out with America's Trucking Network. How about that, King?
I love that. Now, I know that you are a motorcycle guy. How are the motorcycle guys relating to your program? Do they like what's going on?
Well, yeah, believe it or not, the biker community, there's a lot of them that drive the big 18-wheeler rigs and stuff like that, so it's a nice little mix. And plus, I've got some regular average folks that enjoy listening to talk radio, especially late-night talk radio, because they all tell me there's nothing on the airwaves worth listening to, so they're all tuning into my show now on 700 WLW, the nation station. Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool. And boy, have I taught you a good talk show, haven't I, Dave?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got a lot of, but the only problem that I haven't quite learned how to handle all the callers. I don't know why that is. I haven't picked up on, I'm working on that. It's a little different when you're sitting on the other side of the screen or the other in the big chair with the big microphone or whatever, but we're having a lot of fun. Now, right now I'm just nights, and I'm filling in. I've been doing it for about the past month and a half, but it looks like I'm going to be doing some work during the week on vacation routines when the main man is taking a little bit of valuable rest time, like Dirk always likes to do and stuff. But I'll be filling in for him, and it'll probably be at least about a 2-month, maybe 3-month gig, because the permanent weekend guy, he's dealing with some serious health issues right now. And they don't expect him to be able to return till maybe mid-August, late August, or whatever. And he did officially hang up his headphones, but now since things are being kind of successfully treated, he may try to make a comeback. So that's no problem. I'm a team player, and it's not about me. It's about, being part of the big system. And iHeart Media, I mean, Dirk knows how well you're treated there, right, Dirk?
Yeah, right. Sure. Sure he does. Okay.
Yeah. Dirk's no comment. Yeah.
Actually.
He don't want anything to be on tape that they can use against him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Two pros get the axe, and a ham and egger like you gets the gig. I mean, come on, man. What is that all about? I'm only kidding. I'm just kidding, Dave. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, hey, King, you got to remember something. I'm on the sister station.
You have been, whether
Okay.
you know it or not, you have been unfriended. But we were going to go to the audience tonight and say,
Oh no,
should
no,
we-
he wasn't unfriended. I blocked him.
Oh, he was blocked. Oh, well,
Blocked.
we were gonna ask the audience tonight if we should stop blocking Dave from Powell. But the reality is, since you have chosen to rag on DIRK.THOMPSON the way you have, I'm not sure I want to
Now,
relieve
but wait
the
a minute.
pressure.
To be fair, though, I was ragging on him on my little show this morning. So.
Oh, he was ragging on. Yeah, see, he was ragging. See how things get turned around a little bit there. No, I would never rag on my good buddy, the Dirkster and stuff. But you know how it is. Sometimes on the way up the ladder, then you meet a lot of people on the way back down the ladder and all that kind of jazz. But yeah,
Watch you step on going up the ladder of success because you don't know who you're going to meet on the way down. That's a wonderful.
Yes, that's right. Especially if you take the emergency escape valve too. So anyhow, but yeah, right now it's all fun games and stuff, and it's a lot of fun doing the show and hanging out. And like I said, I had a lot of training hanging out with the late night crowd. And you know, when you're doing shows, you're taking calls at 4 o'clock in the morning. You don't know what you're liable to get. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for a reply. Are you guys still there?
Steve?
Hello? Yeah?
Steve?
I don't hear Steve. I hear you, Dirkster.
Let me go. I can break into his computer and see if he may be unhooked from us. Give me one.
Hold on.
Yeah, something happened. I think his connection died. Steve, are you there, buddy? Hello, Steve.
Well, hey,
I think
is that the bat phone ringing? I hear the bat phone.
Maybe that's him calling in the bat phone. See, I've got to keep an eye on his remote computer and spy on him because we might push a different button and then he's lost. He's gone, Dave. Gone.
I'm still here.
Well, see, that's the only important thing that matters.
That's right. So anyhow, this was all a surprise for me with the WLW thing because it was a surprise with the health issue that the host is dealing with and stuff. So I never had any inkling on being able to take over the show. There's something just going around.
So are you on every night down there right now doing that?
No, just like this weekend I'm on the air tomorrow night and Saturday night this weekend, and then next week I'll be on Saturday night, Sunday night, starting at midnight, so it gets a little confusing for people, but midnight this Friday, tomorrow night, and then midnight Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Okay, I think we've got Steve. Are you back now?
I'm back now.
There we go. All right.
There he is. Welcome back, King.
Yeah, I'm back. Now, Dirk, why don't you tell the listeners what they can do to get us to unblock Dave from Powell?
Well, it's not us as in you and I. It's just me. It's not you. It's me.
All right, Dirk, if you want to take responsibility, feel free. I'm more than willing.
Yeah.
All right, I will
him.
unblock him right now on Facebook.
All right, we're doing that now.
Yeah, go ahead and unblock me. Unblock me because your fans would like to keep up with the latest, greatest. And besides that, Dirk, I may even let you come on the air, and I'll definitely let King. The open invitation tomorrow night after midnight, if you want to call in and be part of the late night rampage there at 700 WLW, the nation station and stuff like that. Yeah, please feel free. I even give you the toll-free number. It's a special bat signal number that you can call up on.
Well, I guess Boom Boom, Dave and I have made up now, and it's going to be a radio love fest once again, like it's always been.
I think so, and I think also he's taken those liner cards and had them tattooed inside his eyelids. You know, the 700 WLW, the nation station. He's got those cue cards inside his eyeballs.
Oh my gosh! I just brought up the list of everybody I've blocked on Facebook, and there literally is one. I've blocked 80 people on Facebook. How many people have you blocked, Steve?
I don't block anybody.
Dave, how many people have you blocked?
I've never blocked anybody either.
Wow. See? Well,
I don't have the big fan base and the frenemies like you have, Dirkster. So you got a lot of big people.
Sure.
Yeah. You kind of you've had a bullseye on your back for a number of years. So I mean, it wouldn't be nothing usual for you to have a.
Yeah, I guess some of those were death threats, weren't they?
Don't make Mrs. Thompson nervous, please.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about a bullseye on his back. Shame on you.
All right, Dave. I just clicked unblock. And it says that, okay, I can now get messages on Facebook from Dave again.
Oh, good. Okay. And Dave, I am, as you know, the king of trivia. And I have for you a trivia question pertaining to a deceased actor. Are you ready?
Okay.
You ready, Dave? Here we go.
I'm ready.
There was a wonderful show on television called Then Came Bronson, and the star of that show died this year. I want to know what kind of motorcycle he rode on Then Came Bronson. Do you know, Dave?
Well, I mean, I remember watching the show, and that was was that Michael Parks that played Bronson?
Michael Parks, yeah, passed away this year.
And my guess would be that it would be a Harley, but it could have been a Triumph.
It was a Triumph. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very well done.
And remember, boys and girls, don't try this at home, and I don't use the Google monkeys either. That was all in my brain.
Well, Dave, are you still living in Powell, or are you living down by Cincinnati now?
Well, I have an undisclosed location right now because you got to be flexible nowadays, and a moving target's always a lot harder to hit and stuff. So I kind of float around to Buckeye State and everything like that. But so I'm kind of like a street warrior. Let's say that.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you do have a secret Batcave location. Is that correct?
And actually, I got a new handle now that an unnamed source gave to me that I've been using, and it's getting rave reviews. They're calling me Guardian of the Radio Galaxy, and nobody can steal that either because I came up with that, and it's all original material and stuff like that.
Did you copyright it?
The Guardian of the Radio Galaxy. I see.
Yeah.
So and you managed to come up. And you managed to come up with that at the same time that the Guardian of the Galaxy movie is being released. Boy, are you a smart man.
Yeah, I know. And it just so happened I came up with that idea after I went and saw the movie, and it was pretty cool. So I thought, well, I better come up with that because I don't think nobody was out there naming themselves the Guardian of the Radio Galaxy. Well, of course, that's only true, I guess, when I'm doing the show on Friday and Saturday night. But somebody's got to run roughshod on all the knuckleheads out there and all the, the aliens and stuff like that. So anyhow, I think it's a pretty cool handle. What do you think?
I think so too, but really the knuckleheads need somebody on the air they can relate to, so that's why you're doing the job.
Hey, let me tell you what. When you're broadcasting to truckers all over the country, you got to be the Guardian of the Radio Galaxy because you can't believe some of the. Well, I really haven't had too many crazies call in. I've had one or two, but I've got a screener and I've given them strict orders on who gets through and who doesn't get through. It's so nice when you have that control board right there at your fingertips. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Truckers are great people. I'll tell you, both the men and women are great people. I've always related well. And when I drive late at night, I know absolutely how to drive my four-wheeler around an 18-wheeler without getting in the way. So I'm trucker-oriented myself.
Yeah, and the truckers really that listen to the show and call in and participate and stuff, they are some pretty sharp guys. I mean, they're very astute on what's going on. They follow issues, and they love talk radio. But see, you got to remember something. When you're on 700 WLW, you can't believe how many just regular average Joes and Janes are listening to the show. I've had people call up from down there at Myrtle Beach, down in Louisiana, Oklahoma. I mean, I've got calls, I got one gentleman calls up from Boston, Mass, and a couple of weeks ago he defended the fans out there because they were getting a bad rap about the deal with somebody in the stands at a baseball game, bad-mouthing a Baltimore Oriole and using some negative language. So I've got people that aren't necessarily truckers that are listening to the show. You know, there's not that much good late-night talk radio on nowadays.
That's true.
You got that
That's very true.
George Norrie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Since I'm no longer doing the all-night radio rampage, there is nobody to listen to.
Yeah, that's right. So I kind of like control the roost, and that's why I've got to be the guardian of the radio galaxy and stuff because, I'm one of the only outlets where people can actually call in and actually get on the air and stuff. And you know all about callers liking to call up and get their voice on the air.
Boy, do I know about those. And I got to tell you, of all of the miserable, no, not all of, I've had some really testy callers in the past, and you fall into that category, but you really are a good guy. So I always was more than happy to put up with you. So I want you to know that.
Well,
am I right, Dirk? Is he a good guy?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? He's like an old-time radio guy. When he gets prepared for a show, like I've met him at the Denny's across from the Google Plex down there at iHeart Cincinnati. He does his show prep analog style. You would love this. I go in the Denny's. He's sitting there. Somehow he's gotten a paper copy of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. He's got the Cleveland Plain Dealer, the Cincinnati Enquirer, the Columbus Dispatch. He's got the real paper versions of those, and he's cutting stuff out and circling it. And
Well, Dave has Dave has seen me work for years, so he knows what you need to do to become part of the audience and part of what's happening in America today and understand the news. You need the newspapers or online newspapers to really get the job done. Dave has learned well, don't you think?
He has.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's right. I like things being right there at your fingertips instead of trying to dial around on a phone and then you can't read the print. Or I actually got a computer screen there in front of me. I've got 3 screens there in front of me. I don't know what they all do and stuff like that, but anyhow, as long as I got something that gives me the weather forecast, that's all I'm kind of worried about. But
I wish you could see a picture of our studio in Columbus. And Dirk is sitting there with like 19 screens in front of him, and it's really bizarre. But
do you still have Chip running your controls down there?
Well, no, Chip doesn't do although Chip's going to fill in. I've got another gentleman that's doing the control board for the WLW. Now, Chip's doing 55 KRC when I'm riding the waves on Saturday night, 9 to 11, Dirkster. So Chip's working the board there, but he's actually filling in Saturday night for my regular screener and stuff. And the regular screener was the screener for the host that had to give up the shift. So he's got a pretty good handle with the audience, and he knows what callers are what. And see, all these callers now, there's a bunch of, they've all got their own theme songs, if you can believe that. I mean, one guy,
we had your Head Out on the Highway and your bicycle song, and callers love that stuff.
I don't even they don't even have my intro and stuff. It's the host of the show, and I got to tell everybody, no, this isn't Mr. Tom, blah, blah, blah. This is yours truly, Dave the Wave. And so I'm going to have to try and take care of that and get my own theme song rolling. They've just got the trucker sound of the big diesel firing up and starting like that. So maybe tomorrow night I'll go ahead and work on that. Now on my show, I got probably one of the best opening intros that anybody's got on all radio. And
Steven, do you happen to hear it?
Not as good as Blazing Saddles.
You're in it, Steve.
Yeah, but Steve, Dave's intro goes on for 5 minutes, and it's so long, by the time he introduces the show, it's time for Chip to take a break.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the fans love hearing the intro, and you're part of it, King. You give me a nice rendition right there and stuff, but no, it's always nice to have a nice intro and stuff and have your own theme music. But yeah, so a lot of these callers, these truckers and stuff, they've got their own handles, and then now they got their own theme songs. So I can't even put them on until we run a little dash of their theme music and stuff. But I've made music a big part of the show, and believe it or not, I probably have gotten more response and more people calling up talking about music and the classic rock groups and who's in the Hall of Fame and who's not and who deserves to be in there than I would say any subject in the last 5-6 weeks.
Well, there is now a movement I've noticed on Facebook to get Jimmy Beaumont and the Skyliners in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There has been, all of a sudden, in the past week or two, there has been an upstart movement of people who think they should be in one of the popular music halls of fame because they've had so many hits since the late 50s. Now, I guess maybe I should ask you the question, because bikers usually like anything by Steppenwolf. Is Steppenwolf in the Hall of Fame, do you know, Dave?
Yeah, I don't think John Kane Steppenwolf is in the Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you who else I'm good buddies with, and they all race Kane, is Mark Farner and Grand Funk Railroad. They should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. And the Doobie Brothers. I'm good buddies with Pat Simmons, and the Doobie Brothers aren't in the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, here's 3 groups right there we just rattled off that definitely should be there. So music is who I did an interview with a couple weeks ago, and he wants to come back on the air very soon, is one of the original members of the Loving Spoonful, and that's John Sebastian and the boys.
Really? You're going to interview John Sebastian?
No, I interviewed one of the original members of the group, the Loving Spoonful, with John Sebastian and the boys, but
right.
He's one of the original guys, and he's got a new book out, and he was on my Riding Away with Dave show, and he's got to come on WLW with me. I'm not sure if it's going to be this weekend or possibly next weekend. I told him I wanted him to come on where we've got like about an hour to spend time and stuff, but just from what he told me, very interesting history with the Loving Spoonful and John Sebastian and their rise. And they really were only together for, I guess, about 3 years, but they had a lot of number ones or top 10 hits. I think the first 10 records they released all went in top 10. And,
I got a chance.
Remember the music.
Oddly enough, I got a chance to work with them in Washington when I worked at WEAM Radio. I emceed a show at the DAR Hall, and if they knew that an electric rock band was at the DAR Hall, they might not have allowed it. But the reality was, the Young Rascals opened, and the Spoonful closed the show. It was one of the most exciting experiences that a young disc jockey named Steve Cannon ever had a chance to participate in. We had a lot of fun that time. Oh, you know who you want to have on, Dave? I just thought of this.
Who's that?
Frank Fritz from American Pickers should be on your show.